There was a very beautiful, magnificent kingdom called Belle-Fleur, surrounded by mountains and rivers. The princess of that kingdom was named Sarah. Sarah was very beautiful. Her face always shone bright like a full moon. Everyone in the palace loved her very much because of her kind nature. But Sarah had a unique habit. Normally, princesses go to singing classes or practice sword fighting, but our Sarah's life and soul was in only one thing. That was cooking. Yes, she loved going into the palace kitchen and trying out new dishes. Whenever you saw her, she would have a recipe book and a wooden spoon in her hands. Her father, King Richard, didn't like this at all. He was a very strict king. One day, he called Sarah and scolded her angrily. "Sarah, you are a princess. You have the responsibility to learn how to rule the country. Leaving that aside, what business do you have in this kitchen all the time? We have 1,000 people to cook for us. You go to your room." But Sarah would let it go in one ear and out the other. At night, once everyone in the palace went to sleep, she would take a small candle and secretly sneak into the kitchen. Her cooking style in that big kitchen was like performing magic. She would toss vegetables in the air and chop them and sprinkle spices precisely like using a painter's brush. One night, she made a sweet called coconut macaroons using coconut, vanilla, and milk. Catching the scent of it, the palace's head chef, Chef Rigatoni, came there half asleep. He tasted Sarah's cooking and was completely mesmerized. "Oh my goodness, in my lifetime I have cooked for so many kings and queens, but I have never eaten such divine nectar. From now on, I will stop cooking and join as your assistant," he said, almost falling at her feet with tears in his eyes. That's how incredibly perfect her cooking skills were. While Sarah's life was going so joyfully and happily, an unexpected tragedy happened one day. One evening, Sarah went on rounds in disguise, wearing a brown coat to see how the people in the town were doing. Her favorite place was a soup shop run by Madame Potts. Drinking piping hot soup there when it rained was Sarah's favorite thing to do. But when she went there that day, Madame Potts was crying and packing everything into boxes to close the shop. The whole town looked very dark and sad. Sarah panicked and ran over. "What happened, Madame Potts? Why are you closing the shop crying?" she asked anxiously. Wiping her eyes, she said, "The prices of ingredients have gone up too much, dear. For the money we used to buy 10 baskets of vegetables, we can only buy 1 now. I can't manage it any more. Not just me, Mr. Bunn's bakery, Miss Berry Blossom's tea shop, half the shops in town are in the state of closing. We're all going to leave our businesses and go look for other jobs. From now on, no one will get tasty food in this town," she said, completely broken and sad. Hearing this, Sarah's heart felt very heavy. The happiness of our townspeople lies in the little meals they eat. A hot tea in the morning, a soup in the evening. If they lose even this, how dark will this kingdom become? She thought. The princess inside her awoke. A fierce fire appeared in her eyes. She immediately came up with a super plan. "I won't just be a princess, I'll save my people as a chef too. No one in this kingdom should go hungry or be sad," she took a vow. The very next day, she took a large chest full of gold coins from her room in the palace and bought a large piece of land in the middle of the town. She started building a grand restaurant there. She called Madam Potts, Mr. Buns, and Miss Berryblossom, who had all closed their shops, and said, "You all work in my restaurant. I will take care of the cost of ingredients, space, and security. Don't worry about anything. Just show your culinary skills," and handed them bags full of gold. There was such immense happiness on their faces. Just as she said, Sarah's Royal Bites restaurant opened grandly. The aroma of Sarah's cooking spread all over the town and even reached the neighbouring kingdom through the wind. Wow! People started standing in festival-like queues just to eat the soup, hot cakes, and delicious noodles she made. The townspeople started smiling again. The fame of her restaurant spread like wildfire in all directions. Even King Richard felt a little proud when he stood outside and thought of his daughter. But where there is a lot of light, a big shadow will also fall, right? Hearing the fame of Sarah's restaurant, a great danger came seeking the town. One night, when the restaurant was very busy, everyone was laughing, talking, and eating. Suddenly, crash! 4 or 5 rugged men broke the large wooden doors of the restaurant and entered. Seeing them, the people left their food halfway and trembled in fear. As their leader, wearing a black leather coat with large scars on his face, a man walked in looking absolutely terrifying. His name was Cobb. He was none other than the leader of the rugged bandit gang that made the whole region tremble. Cobb walked straight to the counter where Sarah was. The sound of his heavy boots echoed terrifyingly in the quiet restaurant. "Hey, Princess, I've heard a lot about your restaurant and the gold hoarded here. If you want this town and your restaurant to stay safe, you need to give me bags of gold every month. Otherwise, I will smash your restaurant and this town to the ground and set it on fire," he threatened aggressively. Everyone froze in fear. They all wondered if they should call the royal guards. But our Sarah didn't flinch at all. Her brain worked really fast. She thought about how to deal with him without any bloodshed. Then she got an idea. She pointed the wooden spoon she was holding straight at Cobb's face like a sword. "All right, I will give you gold, but on one condition. You have to compete with me in a cooking competition." Hearing this, the crowd was taken aback. Cobb laughed terribly and arrogantly. The bandits behind him joined in the laughter. Sarah continued, "If you win, my restaurant and my kingdom's gold will all be yours. But if I win, you and your gang must leave this town forever. Are you ready for the challenge?" she asked boldly, looking right into his eyes. Cobb laughed loudly. "A cooking competition? With me? You foolish princess. You don't even know who I am." "Fine. Why should I ruin your wish? I accept." He agreed to the challenge and shook her hand. That evening, Sarah sat by a riverbank, thinking deeply about what special dish she could cook for the competition. Just then, Cobb arrived. He was standing quietly looking at the river without his hat or coat. A small conversation happened between the two. That's when Sarah learned a huge, shocking truth. Cobb was not just an ordinary rugged bandit. Once upon a time, he was a brilliant, world-renowned chef. His real name was Cresswater. Even kings would wait in line to taste his food. But many years ago, an arrogant and malicious food critic purposely criticized his food, spread fake news, and totally destroyed his name and fame. Out of that frustration and anger, Cresswater abandoned his culinary arts, turned into Cobb, and became a bandit who terrorized towns. Sarah learned this sad backstory. Now, Sarah's responsibility had increased. She shouldn't just win this competition to save the town. She had to change the heart of a good chef who had lost his way and make him fall in love with cooking again. She made a strong decision. The day of the competition arrived. The townspeople gathered in front of the restaurant like it was a festival. 3 prominent and very strict judges, including King Richard, sat down. Behind them, a large clock started ticking. The competition began grandly. On one side, Cobb, spinning his knife like a sword, tossing vegetables into the air and chopping them. He was cooking incredibly fast, with great style and a fierce intensity. When he tossed his pan over the fire, a huge pillar of flame rose up. The people around clapped in amazement. He made a spicy fettuccine noodles, adding coconut milk and various exotic spicy ingredients. Its aroma alone pulled everyone in. Everyone thought, there can't be a tastier dish in the world than this. On the other hand, our Sarah, with no panic at all, was cooking very calmly with a small smile on her face. She touched and admired every vegetable with love. Using tomatoes and beans, she made a very, very simple yet love-filled creamy polenta and beans and tomato sauce dish. Seeing this, Cobb laughed mockingly. Is she going to beat me with this ordinary food? Her defeat was certain. Time was up. Both of their dishes were placed in front of the judges. The judges didn't know who cooked which dish. It was a blind tasting. First, they ate the spicy noodles made by Cobb. Wow, this is fantastic! The mix of spice and sweetness is overwhelming. A big salute to the chef. They praised endlessly. Cobb's face showed great pride and the arrogance of impending victory.
Well done.
Next, they took a spoonful of the simple tomato bean polenta made by Sarah and tasted it. The very next second, all 3 judges' eyes widened in surprise. The surrounding crowd was dead silent, waiting in suspense to hear what they would say. The head judge, with tear-filled eyes, announced loudly, "Aha! This is not just food. There is some magic in this. This taste touches not just my body, but my soul. It gives me a comforting feeling like the food my grandmother used to make for me when I was young. This is true
Ladies
cooking.
and gentlemen,
Therefore,
we
the winner
have
of this
a
competition
winner!
is the one who made this polenta." And he shed tears of joy. Yes! Wow! The people in the crowd and Sarah jumped in joy. But Cobb got terribly angry. His face turned red, and he screamed, "How is this possible? This is cheating! She only put beans and ordinary tomato sauce. There are no expensive ingredients in it. She definitely did some magic or cheated," he shouted aggressively. The crowd went silent. Sarah walked towards Cobb very calmly with a smile. Taking a spoonful of the polenta she made, she offered it to him and said, "If you have doubts, taste my food yourself, Cresswater." Cobb angrily grabbed the spoon and ate the polenta. The very next minute, the spoon in his hand slipped and fell down. His angry face completely changed, and tears started streaming from his eyes. He remembered his mother, the exact same taste his mother lovingly fed him many years ago. He felt like he got back his lost childhood. How is this so soft, with such a deep flavor? Without any fancy spices, how could you bring out such a taste? He asked in astonishment, his voice trembling. To that, Sarah said very lovingly, "Cresswater, a chef's true purpose isn't just to earn money or to impress judges and gain fame. The hearts and stomachs of those who eat our food should be filled with happiness. You cooked with the rage and anger to win, but I cooked with pure love for my people. That love is what gives the best taste in the world to this simple food. That single word shattered the darkness and anger inside Cresswater into pieces. He completely realized his mistake. I have lost, Princess, both in cooking and in life. As promised, I will take my men and leave this town, leave this kingdom, he said very sorrowfully, walking with his head down. Stop, Sarah called out loudly. Cobb turned around. You are an excellent chef, Cresswater. This world really needs your talent. Why should you leave this town? I have a plan to open another branch for my restaurant. Be the head chef for that. People will celebrate your talent. What do you say? She extended her hand. Hearing this, Cresswater didn't know what to say. Seeing Sarah, who respected his talent instead of seeing him as a bandit, he happily agreed, crying tears of joy. What happened after that? The one who was the bandit Cobb turned back into the globally celebrated Master Chef Cresswater. Madame Potts, Mr. Buns, and everyone together happily served various loving dishes to the people of the kingdom every day. King Richard also understood the greatness of cooking. Sarah didn't just live as a princess, she lived as the